לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו.
Shabbat Shalom. Shalom. We need Shabbat more than ever this week. We need its invitation. We need its beauty. We need its glow on this beautiful day. And so we take a moment to soak in that Shabbat spirit as we gather here this evening, whether it is in person in our Mishkan or if you are joining us online. As we lead into our prayers, there are a couple of things to know this Shabbat by way of introduction. So one is that across the world, our Reform movement online this morning was holding a unity Shabbat in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Israel. And so we too at Holy Blossom are honoring this tonight at our own Shabbat services. So there are a couple of ways that we are doing this. One was before you even stepped into this room, and that is you may have noticed downstairs that there are blue ribbons of all sorts, and they are in honor or for the reminder of the captives that have been unfortunately and scarily taken into Gaza and who remain there at this time. And so these blue ribbons that you see, you can either make a little pin for yourself and wear it on your lapel, or there is another initiative which is similar, which is a larger blue ribbon that you can tie on a tree outside your home, that all who are captive may return to their roots once more. Within our service itself, within this Mishkan, this sacred time and space, we will also be honoring our Israeli brothers and sisters through music, with the majority of our melodies being from Israeli composers and Israeli groups, such as Nava Tehillah and Beit Tefillah Yisraeli. We gather them into our hearts this evening. And as we turn to prayer, we lead into Yedid Nefesh. But from our Solidarity Shabbat, there were these beautiful blessings sent around, including this poem by Rabbi Karen Kadar. And it reads as follows. We gather together in faith and with hope to pray for peace and for the safety of the people of Israel. Help us, O Holy One, and protect us in our hour of need. Touch our hearts, lest they be hardened with despair. Guide our thoughts, lest they are overcome with fear. Bring healing to the wounded, strength to those in mourning, courage to those in fear, and wisdom to those who lead. Yedid Nefesh, beloved one, reveal yourself and fill the world with your light. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Be quick, God of love, for the time has come. Have mercy upon us, eternal one of peace. Yedid Nefesh can be found on page 105 in our Siddurim, on our seats in front of us, or just a click away online. Page 105.
נפש, אב הרחמן משוכבתך, רצונך ירוץ עבדך, המו היל ישתחווה מול הדרך, כי ירב לו ידידותיו, בנופת סוף וכל טעם, כי ירב לו ידידותיו, בנופת סוף וכל טעם. יאי לי לי לי, יאי לי 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 לי, הדור נאה זיו העולם, נפשי חולות אהבתך, יענה נא רפנה לה בהרות לה, נועם זיווך, אז תתחזק ותתרפא, והייתה לך שמחת עולם, כי ירהב לו ותתרפא, והייתה לך שמחת עולם. יאי לי לי, יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי 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 That melody, which was not familiar to you, is actually from the Reformed Synagogue in Modi'in in Israel. So if it felt a little unfamiliar, it was unfamiliar to me as well, singing it, but we will sing it again another time, and it will become more part of our kahal. So.
Absolutely. And we bring in Shabbat with the lighting of candles. It is always good to have something to celebrate and to bring a little light even to the dark moments. And so we know that we have 2 Benot Mitzvah coming up next week, or B'nai Mitzvah. So I'd like to call up Braden and Emma and the Delin/Grant Lewis families to lead us in candle lighting this Shabbat in honor of their B'nai Mitzvah next Shabbat. Great. Looks like we've got Emma and her family. Okay. And for anybody else who would like to light candles and to join in that tradition to fulfill that mitzvah, whether you have not been here for too long, whether you are taking someone into your heart or your mind this Shabbat, whether you have something to celebrate or simply are just joyous to be in community, we invite you to come and light our congregational candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. From Psalm 96, page 108, Shiru Ladonai. Shiru Ladonai, repeat, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato. Together, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato. Sabtu v'goyim kivoto, b'chol ha'amim nifleotav, ki gadol Adonai u'mecholal me'od, norahu el kol Elohim. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Sabtu v'goyim kivodo, b'chol ha'amim nifleotav, ki gadol Adonai u'mehulal me'od, norahu el kol Elohim. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Let's hear you. Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato, Sabtu v'goyim kivoto, b'chol ha'amim nifleotav, ki gadol Adonai u'mehulal me'od, norahu al kol Elohim. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basru miyom leyom Yeshuato. Sometimes when we are hurting, we can't quite find the words. But one thing that helps us find the words is music. And all of us are here tonight to be together for Shabbat, to feel the strength of each other, to feel the strength during this challenging time. And I want to encourage all of you to let the music flow through you a little bit. Let the music take you where you thought you may not even want to go tonight, but it will help heal your heart and heal your soul. And so let's try that together as we sing Mizmor LeDavid, middle of page 113. Mizmor LeDavid, Havol Adonai b'nei elim, Havol Adonai kavod va'oz, Havol Adonai kavod shemo, Ishtachavol Adonai becharat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim, Adonai, al mayim rabim, kol Adonai, ba'koach, yaelai, kol Adonai, be'adar, kol Adonai, shover arazim, v'yashaber Adonai et hazeh halvanon, v'yarkitem kemo ekel levanon, v'sirion kemo v'neremim yaelai kol Adonai chotzev lavoresh kol Adonai yachil midbar yachil Adonai midbar kadesh kol Adonai cholel ayalon vayechesov yeharot uvehechalo kulo omer kavod yaelai Adonai lemahal bul yashav yeshev Adonai melech leolam Adonai oz le'amo yitein Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom yaelai lai 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 ya lai 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 lai. Louder, let's hear you. La 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 la. One more time. La 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la.
So we can take a little bit of comfort from the last words of that psalm, which are Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. The Eternal will give strength unto the people, and the Eternal will bless the people with peace. And so we allow this music to strengthen us. We allow the Shabbat to strengthen us as we think of this verse of Psalms, which was also that same verse our Reform and Progressive brothers and sisters were using in Israel at the very beginning of this crisis. And we can be strengthened by them and be strong for them as well as we revel in the Shabbat.
And we turn to the words of Lecha Nodi on page 115, where we will sing a melody that was first introduced to me in Kol Neshama in Jerusalem by Rabbi Levi Kelman, who will, God willing, be coming here at some point later this year. And it is a melody just that is communal, that needs our voices to sing and to rejoice and to welcome in Shabbat. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalelai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalelai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך תודי לי כתלה, יללי, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. לך תודי לי כתלה, יללי, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכל ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה ומחשבה תחילה. לך תודי לי כתלה, יללי, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. לך תודי לי כתלה, יללי, 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 נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בא הורג ומי הורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך תודי לי כתלה, יללי, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. לך תודי לי כתלה, יללי, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום, עטרת בהלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יללי, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. צדיק התמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה. שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפרחו. אור ינבון בשיבה, דשנים ורעננים יהיו. להגיד כי השר אדוני, צורי ולא הבלעת בו.
We rise on page 119 in the Baruch Hu prayer.
Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim bechokhma poteach she'arim uvitvuna meshane itim umachalif et hazmanim umesader et hakochavim bemishmeroteim barakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or uma'avir yom umevi layla umavdil ben yom uven layla Adonai Tzvaot Shemo, El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim. Unending love have you shown your people, the house of Israel. Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts have you taught us. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will reflect on the meaning of your laws and rejoice in the words of your Torah and in your mitzvot forever, for they are our life and the length of our days. On them we will meditate day and night. May your love never depart from us. Praised are you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, והם נהגי יומם ולילה, ועבדתך לתסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה, אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. And so as we think about the Michamocha and that journey and that redemption it symbolizes from the desert to the promised land, I wanted to bring another of those poems of solidarity to us this evening. This one comes from Alton Solovey, one of our favorite Jewish poet liturgists, who's actually based in Jerusalem. It's called Israel, a Meditation. Israel, you are my people. You are my heart and you are my hope. We waited together at the mountain when God revealed the holy word. We wandered together through the desert on the path to sacred soil. We watched the sea part. We heard the heavens roar. We stood at the doorway to freedom at the border of the promised land. Israel, you are my destiny. You are my joy, and you are my truth. We were victorious at Jericho, unyielding at Masada. We defied empires for Torah. We defied kings for justice and freedom. We've traveled the earth, wandered the millennia, refugees of the ages, homeless and hopeful, once waiting to return to native ground. Israel, you are my brother in history, my sister in fortune, the mother of my courage, the father of my heart, the child of my longing and the light of generations. To you I pledge my right arm and my voice in song. To you I pledge my soul, to you I pledge my spirit. Israel, you are my nation, you are my inheritance, you are my home. And we turn to the Micha Mocha, which meditates on these themes with maybe even the joyful noise that we hear just outside in our atrium from Tot Shabbat on page 125.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha netar b'kodesh norat hilot osefele מלכות הרב ענך בוקעים לפני משה מלכות הרב ענך בוקעים לפני משה זה לי אנו ויאמרו Adonai imloch leolam leolam va'er ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל יה לה 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 יה לה 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 Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la ya la la la
We pray together for God's protection with the Hashkivenu on page 126. Grant that we may lie down in peace, Adonai our God, and raise us up, O Sovereign, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, and for your name's sake be our help. Shield us from hatred and plague. Keep us from war and famine and anguish. Subdue our inclination to evil. O God, our guardian and helper, our gracious and merciful Sovereign, give us refuge in the shadow of your wings. Guard our coming and our going, that now and always we may have life and peace. Praised are you, Adonai, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת וינפש וביום השביעי שבת וינפש יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה ועלמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ויומכון ובחי לכל בית ישראל בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ועלמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דהמירן מעלמה ואמרו אמן. אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי אגיד תהילתך ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באחווה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מכלכל החיים בחסד מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע ונאמנתה לחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We now take a few moments to ourselves for the words of our ancestors on the page, or the words, I should say, of our hearts until we join back together once more. Once you've finished your own moments of prayer, you may be seated.
our prayer for peace on this Shabbat, Shir LaShalom, which can be found on page 548.
תנו לשמש לעלות, לבוקר להאיר, הזעקה שבתפילות אותנו לא תחזיר. מי אשר קבע נרו ובעפר נטמן, בחימר לא יאירו, לא יחזירו לכאן. איש אותנו לא ישיב מבור תחתית אפל, כאן לא יועילו, לא שמחת הניצחון ולא שירי הלל. לכן רק שירו שיר לשלום, אל תלחשו תפילה. מוטב תשירו שיר לשלום בצעקה גדולה. תנו לשמש להדור מבעד לפרחים, אל תביטו לאחור, הניחו להולכים. עיניים בתקווה, לא דרך כוונות. שירו שיר לאהבה ולא המלחמות. אל תגידו לא יבוא, הביאו את היום, כי לא חלום הוא. וכל הקירות הריעו לשלום. לכן רק שירו שיר לשלום, אל תלחשו תפילה. לכן רק שירו שיר לשלום, אל תלחשו תפילה. לכן רק שירו שיר לשלום, אל תלחשו תפילה. מוטב תשירו שיר לשלום בצעקה גדולה.
And with this prayer of hope and healing in our hearts, with this prayer of hope and peace, I should say, we turn our hearts and minds to prayers of healing, to the healing of those, the healing of body, the healing of spirit of those in our community, the hard work of truth and reconciliation that we work towards every day with our Indigenous brothers and sisters. And of course, the thousands of wounded citizens and residents of Israel and at least 200 hostages being held in Gaza. Together with their names, we call into our hearts the names of those in our own community this Shabbat. Chana bat Gittel, Joel Sears, Moshe Gershon ben Ruchel Leah Uvarach Shalom Chaim, Bracha bat Zisel, Stan Swartz, Michael ben Yisrael, Sima bat Gittel, Sarah Hannah Cecil bat Chaya Devora, Shira bat Miriam of Avraham, Dina Lanskroner, Ruth Menuchin, Harav Shimon David ben Rivka Mordechai Zev, Nili bat Ita Rachel ve'Ezra, Barbara Weisfeld, David ben Chaim Miriam, and Rabbi Ed Goldfarb. Are there any names that our congregation may wish to add to these prayers for healing this Shabbat? refuah shlema to each one as we are on page 137.
מי שברך אמותינו מקורח הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach avotenu mikorach hamracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. The Israeli poet Yehuda Amichai has a famous piece known as Shir Ein Sofi, or the Infinite Poem, which reads as follows. Inside the brand new museum, there's an old synagogue. Inside the synagogue is me. Inside me, my heart. Inside my heart, a museum. Inside the museum, a synagogue. Inside it, me. Inside me, my heart. Inside my heart, a museum. I have been thinking about this poem recently because it reminds me of what is probably my favorite place in the entire world, the Israel Museum in Jerusalem. Within this particular museum, there is not just one synagogue, but an entire exhibit dedicated to synagogues from all different locations around the world. From India to Germany to Italy to even the Caribbean with its sand-covered floor. These sanctuaries have clearly been taken from their original homes and restored in the heart of Jerusalem. As the war continues to unfold in Israel, there felt like perhaps no more poignant image than these synagogues from the diaspora, carefully rebuilt in a museum in Jerusalem, at this time when Libenu b'Mizrach, our hearts are well and truly in the East. This poem is also, you might have caught it, written in such a way so as to be endlessly repetitive. If you're anything like me, you can maybe see that infinite loop as a symbol of the spiraling state of our hearts and minds as we deal with all of the emotions surrounding the last 3 weeks. On that note, however, there's a beautiful Tosefta that teaches us to make a heart of many rooms. We can take this moment to fully recognize that many of us are feeling a myriad of emotions right now, and many of them heavy upon our human shoulders, from anxiety to grief to fear to even anger. Our hearts are divided up into room after room after room as we explore their chambers, some of them as old and familiar as a synagogue, and others as cavernous and new as the brand new museum that Amichai describes. This is to say that we know there is an immense communal and personal struggle and grief at this difficult moment. And we want you to know that we see you, we hear you, we feel you, we acknowledge you, and we're here for you. With that in mind, Shabbat seemed like the perfect opportunity to break this spiral of solemnity, even just temporarily, in the spirit of Shabbat, and explore a room within our heart that we might not have entered into recently or for a little while, that of tikvah, of hope. At Holy Blossom, We often refer to our home here in Canada, where we live and work and love and have a responsibility to attend, and our homeland in Israel, the place of our hearts and spirits' longings. It is our hopeful response on both fronts which I wish to address this Shabbat. So let's look first at our hopeful response on the home front. In hearing your stories and being with many of you through the ups and downs of these recent weeks, what has been so deeply moving and so deeply heartwarming are the countless phone calls and emails and conversations with you, members of our sacred congregation, who simply want to do something, anything, to help. Whether that's asking that general question of what can we do, to referring our team to specific initiatives or specific resources, that very Jewish response of wanting to respond is appreciated as a lift to the neshama, and you should know that. To that effect, our Toronto Jewish community have sent through the UJA, whose efforts we are supporting, not one but two massive waves of aid to Israel. So in that first wave alone, upwards of $60 million was donated to the UJA's emergency appeal and has been distributed to a variety of causes, including emergency grants for victims of terror and traumatized communities, protective equipment for first responders, assistance to Holocaust survivors in the line of rocket fire, and medical supplies and other essential goods. And without all of you, that would not be possible. As of this week, with the second wave of aid, which was about $4.5 million, that circle was able to be expanded to cover other areas of concern, working in partnership now with Israeli NGOs to cover such things as critical services for evacuees, at border communities, emergency baby products, support to help evacuate Israelis with disabilities, emergency aid for young leadership based in Gaza border communities, and even equipment to aid in the recovery, identification, and burial of victims. We can and we should take some comfort and hope in knowing that our aid is having a positive, direct impact in making the lives of our Israeli brothers and sisters just a little bit easier at this terrible time. I know this to be true from a text I received from Ella Payorski, our amazing Shinshinit from last year, just before last Shabbat, which read, "We can't stop talking here about the incredible support from the community in Toronto. You are all so kind, and we can feel your support here." In other words, our own hopeful response has not just been important for our own hearts and souls at home in Toronto, but also for our Israeli loved ones in our shared homeland, who need us now more than ever. On that note, let us take a look at the response in Israel, our homeland. For that, we'll need a little bit of context. This past Tuesday, our Dorot group held their launch event for the fall season. Originally planned to be a joyful, fun Yiddish cabaret, the gathering was pivoted instead to be a panel of speakers focused on Israel through an intergenerational lens, because this is the purpose of Dorot, which means generations. One of those speakers was Holy Blossom member Shai Menuchin, who sits on our Israel Engagement Committee. Some of you might know him. When asked what gave him hope amidst the current crisis, he said that it was not the government or even the IDF, but rather the extraordinary galvanization of the people, of Israel's civil society. To lift up but a few examples, there are stories of Israelis from all walks of life lining up for 11 hours to donate blood at the Pais Arena in Jerusalem. Other stories include of mothers donating breast milk for orphaned infants, florists crafting arrangements for funeral wreaths instead of wedding bouquets, and thousands of hot meals being prepared in restaurants across the country to be sent to army bases and hospitals. I would be remiss too not to mention the unbelievable work of our Israeli progressive movement. We can highlight the efforts of their social action arm, Keren B'Kavod, who've been working tirelessly to provide food, toys, or other supplies, or specific support to marginalized populations such as refugees and Ethiopians and the Druze, or even organizing rides in private cars to transport evacuees to centers all over the nation. Additionally, our rabbinic colleagues are also working miracles and doing everything they can to support their congregations and communities, including through the officiation of countless funerals and shiva minyanim, and we cannot put those aside. Yet, in a final embodiment of hope, in a way that links both home and homeland, we can turn, believe it or not, to the internet. Some of you may have seen it already, but there is a meme from the early days of the war that came to my attention at a study session your rabbis participated in earlier this week, facilitated through the Shalom Hartman Institute. Posted on X, formerly Twitter, by a man named only as Osher, it reads, "In another 1,000 years, there will be another festival about them trying to destroy us and failing, and the minhag, the custom, will be to eat Rachel's cookies, or mashu, or something." So for context, this Rachel that Osher refers to is Rachel Edrei, who's become something of an Israeli folk hero after she plied Hamas terrorists with tea and Moroccan cookies until the police stormed in and killed her attackers. Apart from the opportunity to be with one another and to study together, being a salve for sore hearts in and of itself, what lessons might this viral internet piece weave together about hope? The first is from Rachel herself, who, through her almost 20-hour plight between hospitality and brutality, she's come to represent the ingenuity of everyday Israelis amongst the devastation and chaos of October 7. The second is what we discussed in our Hartman session, which is the hope, or even the assumption, that amongst this existential crisis there will be endurance. Quite literally, Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel, will live. Subsequently, another celebration typifying that Jewish adage of "they tried to kill us, let's eat" will emerge. This new commemoration, after all, is framed by this Osher not just as an Israeli holiday, but one which is marked by Jews the world over. Indeed, Osher even suggests what we know it could look like, that we will all, Jews and Israelis alike, join in solidarity by eating those infamous cookies inspired by the courage of Rachel Edrei. Ken Yehi Ratzon. As we conclude tonight, we can take into account the teaching of the psalmist, who writes that the joyful heart is a good medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bones. Holding the pieces of our shattered hearts in our hands, yet taking heart from the overwhelming responses from our intrinsically linked home and homeland, of generosity and care and bravery and support and compassion and countless stories thereof, we hearken to the words of the Israeli anthem, Od lo avda tikvatenu, we have not yet lost our hope. As we continue to navigate the complexity of the divided rooms of our hearts, let us, sitting in this synagogue on this Shabbat, take a few moments to simply sit in and pray for a Shabbat shel Shalom, a Shabbat of peace and rest. Shabbat Shalom and Shalom al Yisrael. We can now turn to the Aleinu on page 139 as we rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Our attention, our hearts and minds to another commemoration that we are marking this Shabbat, which is actually the 5th year anniversary of the massacre at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. Cantor Rosen will introduce our song, but it's worth pointing out our special connection here at Holy Blossom to that tragic event, with cousins of our congregant Joyce Feinberg sitting here in our kahal marking her memory.
This piece called Tree of Life was written by Nefesh Mountain, which is a Jewish bluegrass group, actually. And they wrote it specifically, of course, in commemoration of the tragic events of the Tree of Life Synagogue. And it's a very sweet melody, and the words are very poignant.
Oh, sweet Spirit, hear my prayer. Help these words heal someone out there. I am but a voice, just a cry in the air, but I sing nonetheless in this pain we share. Oh, sweet friends, come and dry your eyes and hold each other by this tree of life. I'm angry and tired of this great divide, but I sing nonetheless with love on our side. Oh, sweet souls who feel broken now, we'll heal together somewhere, somehow. Time and again we have been let down, but we sing nonetheless, still whole and still proud. Oh, sweet Spirit, hear my prayer. Help these words heal someone out there.
With memory on our hearts and minds, we turn our hearts to those who we have loved and lost, whether recently or at this time in years gone by, including turning our hearts and minds to the victims of the Tree of Life. We ask the mourners among us to rise, that we may be in solidarity with you at this time. As today we mark the yahrzeit of the following: Jean Anshin, Ben Axelrod, Rose Baker, Samuel Baker, Hersey Banks, Rose Banks, Jenny Beber, Sophie Blackstone, Joseph Brott, Joseph Brown, Eva Cohen, Irvin L. Cohen, Issa Cohen, Sadie Danson, Charles Dubin, Max Eisen, Golda Fine, Paul Fingold, Al Gardner, Harry Gula, Ben Hochman, William Joffe, Norman Kay, Kenneth Kelman, Yakov Kolominsky, Adele Laskin, Barbara Leibau, Joyce Libman Feinberg, Mary Lipson, Israel Lurie, Mike Auden, Harry Pachter, Eve Pascoe, Mila Penn, Blanche Rosenfeld, David Rothschild, Ruth Sachs, Melvin Shea, Samuel Shendroff, Jack Sheps, Harry Springman, Joanne Steinberg, Rose Sternberg, Ethel White, Bessie Walsh, Jenny Udashkin, Rebecca Zahn, and Francis Zimmerman. We remember too those who have died most recently and whose families are in those early days of Shloshim. Owen Azen, Stephen Charney, Bettina Denkner, Lila Epstein Ackerman, Gogo Gloria Faber, Norma Nataline Fink, Eileen Katz, Gloria Lee Tassel, and Wendy Sugar. We additionally mourn for the 1,400 Israeli brothers and sisters murdered by Hamas. Among them are these relatives of our congregation and congregants: Yiftach Yavetz, Amir Tzor, Adi Vital Kaplun, and Amir Ayal. Are there any names to be added to our memorial prayers this Shabbat? Zichronam Livracha, we turn to page 142, and the memories of our loved ones are with us as we rise as one community for Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirotei v'yamlich malchotei, be'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, b'gala u'v'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'le'almei almaya, yibarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei dekudasha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'miran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, huyaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, and together we say,
Oseh shalom b'mramav, huyaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, vehimeru, Amen.
As we look to a bat mitzvah, we invite Emma to come and lead us in Kiddush and Hamotzi. Maybe her cousins and any other youngsters among the kahal would like to join as well as we bless our grape juice and bread and challah. The page number is 439.
There you go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai
אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר לציעד מצרים, כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה ורצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Conclude our service with the singing of Hatikva. Words can be found on page 547.
Kol od balevav benipa, nefesh Yehudi homiha, ulfate mizrach kadimha, ayin lezion tzofia. Lo avda tikvatenu, hatikva bat shnot alpayim, lihotam chofshi be'aretzenu, eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim, lihotam chofshi be'aretzenu, eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, shalom al Yisrael.